Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Brian Look. I'm a lieutenant with the Wyoming Department of Public Safety, and I'm the Public Information Officer. In just a moment, Public Safety Chief Kim Coster will be providing an update on this morning's tragic incident. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Officer Raul Leal, who will be interpreting. We will also send a translated copy of this press release. Following Chief Coster's statement, she'll be available for questions. Please remember that this investigation is in its early stages, and there is just some information that will not be available at this time. I will make that information available to the public as it becomes available to us in the days coming. Okay? All right.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Lieutenant Look. On behalf of the men and women of the Wyoming Department of Public Safety, I want to start first by offering our deep
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Raúl, yo soy un policía aquí en la ciudad de Wyoming y hoy voy a estar traduciendo las preguntas y las contestaciones de Chief Coster. Queremos empezar para dar condolencias a las familias afectadas hoy en esta tragedia.
especially children should ever feel unsafe.
Nadie, especialmente niños, se tienen que sentir no seguros en sus hogares.
This morning at around 4 a.m., Wyoming Police and Fire responded to a home on Godfrey Avenue on the report of a possible homicide-suicide.
Hoy, el departamento de Wyoming respondieron a una llamada aproximadamente a las 4 de la mañana en una residencia en el 2100 block de Godfrey Avenue. La llamada era posible suicidio y homicidio.
When police arrived, they found an adult male, adult female, and 2 female children had been fatally shot.
Cuando los policías muerto, a una mujer adulta muerta y 2 menores que habían sido
They were unharmed.
los policías también encontraron evidencia que no.
Indication is that this was a domestic situation, and the adult male shot and killed 3 female victims before shooting himself.
La investigación reveló que este era un incidente doméstico y terminó por dispararse a las 3 personas y a él mismo.
The 3 victims were his girlfriend and her 2 children, ages 11 and 13.
Las víctimas en esta tragedia fue su novia y sus 3 niños.
The motive for this incident remains unclear at this time.
El motivo por esta tragedia no se sabe hasta el momento.
Officers located the weapon used during the incident and believe that there is no danger to the public.
Los policías encontraron la arma utilizada en este caso y pensamos que el público no está en daño en este momento.
And the identity of the victims will not be released at this time, pending notification of family members.
La identidad de las víctimas no va a ser revelada a este momento hasta que los familiares de las víctimas sean notificadas del suceso.
And this is a devastating example of domestic violence, and our officers work tirelessly every day to try to reduce this type of crime in our community.
Este es un suceso destructivo que pasó aquí en la comunidad.
And I will take questions now, if you have.
Hoy vamos a preguntas y como les dije, yo voy a traducir las preguntas en español para la comunidad hispana.
Chief, the other children that were in the home, do we know the relation to the suspect or the victim?
Los otros niños, La pregunta es si los otros niños que estaban en la residencia estaban relacionados con la persona involucrada.
There were 3 other children in the home, a 9-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Estaban 3 menores en la residencia, uno de 9 años, dice 5,
Yep. 2 and 5.
5 años, de 9 años, 5 años y 2 años.
The 2 youngest are children of the suspect as well as the deceased female.
Los 2 niños menores eran hijos de la víctima y de su esposo.
What's of the older child?
The older child, right now, we're not exactly sure the relationship. It's one of her children, though.
Did one of the children call a family member which notified public safety? Is that how?
No, we did not receive a call from the children.
La pregunta era si uno de los niños involucrados notificó a la familia de la tragedia y la respuesta es no.
We were called by another family member who had arrived at the scene.
Do you know where the other children were at the time?
Fuimos notificados por una familiar del difunto.
Do you know where the other children were at the time?
La pregunta es, ¿sabes en dónde estaban los otros niños involucrados?
The other 3 children were inside the residence.
Los niños sobrevivientes cuando pasó el suceso.
We are still conducting our investigation to determine exactly what they may have seen or heard.
La investigación sigue y estamos investigando qué fue lo que vieron y qué es lo que no vieron en el caso.
Did it appear like they were together? Did they barricade themselves? Could we talk about how they were found and were they seeking shelter?
La pregunta es que si nos encontramos todos en un solo cuarto cuando pasó el suceso.
Because this incident happened at 4 o'clock this morning, we're still, and obviously the children are, extremely upset by this incident. So we're taking our time and we are talking to them to determine the details of what they may know.
Esto pasó a las 4 de la mañana y estamos todavía investigando exactamente qué fue lo que sucedió en la residencia.
Did one of the kids call a family member that reported it?
La pregunta es si uno de los niños habló a la familia para reportar el incidente.
It's my understanding that there was a conversation between the suspect, who is now deceased, and another family member over the telephone. And that's how we were alerted to the scene.
Es nuestra información que el sospechoso en este caso habló a un familiar y ese familiar fue que contactó a la policía.
And Chief, you said that you found a firearm, just one, inside the home, and that's believed to be the murder weapon?
La pregunta es que si encontraron una arma y esa arma fue la que fue utilizada en el crimen.
Yes, we located one firearm, a handgun, that we believe was used.
Sí, una arma de fuego fue encontrada y esa arma fue utilizada en este crimen.
Was that registered to the suspect?
La pregunta es, ¿la arma era registrada al sospechoso?
At this time, we're still investigating that firearm to determine its the ownership and registration on it.
En este momento la investigación sigue y estamos investigando a ver si había una relación entre el arma y el sospechoso.
Chief, were there any calls for service leading up to this incident before this had occurred?
La pregunta es si habían llamadas de ese tipo a esta residencia.
I'm not aware of any calls to this residence, specifically of a domestic nature.
En este momento no tenemos esa información. Todavía tiene que ser.
Were the shots fired before police had arrived? What was the timeline?
La pregunta es si los disparos fueron hechos antes de que la policía llegara a la escena.
That's correct. The shots were fired prior to the arrival of our officers.
Es correcto, los disparos fueron hechos antes de que la policía llegara a la escena.
When the suspect called the family member, or he called, right, and then had he already killed them all, the other three?
La pregunta es, cuando un sospechoso habló al familiar, la pregunta es que si ya había disparado a su familia.
I don't have an exact timeline right now, but I can tell you that the conversation that the suspect had with his family member is what brought the family member to the scene out of concern.
Ahorita no tuvimos esa información, pero sí sabemos que el sospechoso habló a su familiar que llegó a la escena después.
Chief, you would start out this briefing by saying no one, especially children, should ever feel unsafe in their home. Have you made contact with the other 3 children? How are they doing?
La pregunta es, ¿cuál es el estado de los otros niños sobrevivientes involucrados en este crimen?
Our officers have been in contact. Our detectives have been working with the family. They are now in the custody of a family member. And we have obviously taken great care in our questioning of these young people, these children. So, yeah, we have been in contact with them, and just our hearts just are breaking for these kids.
Sí, la policía la ayuda posible a la familia sobreviviente.
We are working with the Children's Advocacy Center in Grand Rapids, and I am sure that they will be providing services or referrals for the kids.
Hemos trabajado con Children's Advocacy Center en Grand Rapids. Ayuda necesaria.
These children inside the home, residents of Wyoming, attended Wyoming schools.
La pregunta es si los involucrados eran residentes de la ciudad de Wyoming.
Yes, they were residents of Wyoming and attended schools in Wyoming.
Los involucrados eran residentes de Wyoming y sí atendían a la escuela aquí en Wyoming.
Do you know how long they've been together, the couple?
La pregunta es, ¿sabemos cuánto tiempo han estado junta la pareja?
I do not.
La respuesta es no sabemos en ese momento.
They shared 2 children together, perhaps 3. We have yet to determine that. So, at least 5 years. The one child is 5.
Posiblemente 5 años, pero seguimos investigando este caso.
So just to clarify, Chief, there was 2 children that they shared. Those were the 2 youngest children that were inside, and the children that lost their lives are her children from a previous relationship, and the additional older child is still looking into.
Correct.
Chief, what is your message, for people who might be going through a similar situation? What resources do they have to seek help for the domestic? But actually, I guess that leads to my next question. Did they have any history of domestic violence or anything like that? Did he have a criminal history?
La pregunta es si había un récord de violencia doméstica en esta residencia.
Situation. The stress of a relationship can be just very emotional. Sometimes it can be volatile. And in a case like today, it can actually be lethal. And so I just encourage anyone involved in a situation like this to reach out for help. If you don't know where to go, come here, come to the police department, and we will. But there are hotlines. There is a 1-800-799-7233, and there are other agencies, even in this county can give you a phone number to reach out to someone and to get support. Family members, friends that you can reach out to and get support. I think those are all steps that people can take if they're in a situation like this, if they're in a volatile relationship.
Chief Custer quiere decirle a la comunidad, si tienen problemas domésticas, pueden hablar a 911 o pueden venir directamente aquí a la policía de Wyoming. Aquí les podemos ayudar.
211 as well is a good resource. So that's a number that's easily remembered. Call 211 and they will connect you with
La comunidad también. Buena información que uno puede obtener.
Do you have an arrest record for domestic violence by any chance?
There is no arrest record for domestic violence. The only charge that he had
Crimen, historial. La respuesta es no, solamente.
Any other questions?
Is there anything else we haven't asked you that you want to add?
No, again, this is the sixth homicide we've had in the city of Wyoming that's related to domestic assault. So I would, just ask the public to understand that this is a crime that affects lives in just unimaginable ways. And so if you do know somebody that's involved in a relationship like this, maybe you make the first move and talk to them about some of the resources that we talked about today. Just offer your assistance and offer your help to someone who might be in a relationship where it looks like it could be headed in this type of direction.
La chief de policía quiere decirle a la comunidad, si alguien tiene un problema doméstico, le urge que hable a 911. Un amigo, si mira a alguien que tiene problemas, haz la llamada por esa persona. Hay que conseguir ayuda.
Chief,
And then-
sixth domestic homicide incident of this year,
That's correct.
an incident, not victim.
Oh, incident, this would be our fourth,
Okay, but 6 lives.
6 lives. Mhm.
And how does that compare to previous years? I mean, are these on the rise here?
Domestic assaults, I wouldn't say are on the rise, but it is uncommon, I think, to have this many deaths related to domestic assault in 1 year for us. So, and these are extremely difficult cases for our officers as well. When some of them have children, age, tragedy like this, it takes a toll on our officers as well because, we're people and we have families and we understand the implications of children now living without a mother. We understand just what lies ahead for these kids and what they're going to have to overcome. So, my for the way and how professional they are and working through some of those emotions as they work through a crime scene so difficult as this. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raul.